A very good afternoon from a fresh to frightening Sydney Harbour in a very, very strong southerly that moved through earlier this morning. It's a clear sky southerly and there's plenty of breeze for everyone for the 14th heat of the Club Championship. 2 more races to go before we're into the JJ Giltinan titles, but today is really going to be a good test. All skiffs on their little rigs, some have even got a reef in, but as I say, good afternoon to Andrew Buckland. Tell us about this weather, Andrew.
Well, Pete, it's lovely, isn't it? You know, good southerly test for the troops. Little trough line through overnight and a developing low pressure cell about 100 miles to the north. Another feature, of course, on the maps is a fading tropical cyclone giving Norfolk Island to the north of New Zealand a bit of a touch-up at the moment. But what we got here, Pete, I'd say 16 to 25 on this side of the track and a little more on the other end of the course. Expected to soften a little as the race goes.
Okay, well, thank you, Andrew. And Jimmy Bury, the fresh conditions of brought a small change to the southerly course. Just run us through it, Jimmy, as we say good afternoon to you.
G'day, Pete. Yeah, the southerly course, so we're actually in Athelbite instead of more over towards Robertson Point where we start. Work up to Clark Island, then a run down instead of going all the way down to Obelisk. They're only going down to George's Head in Chowder Bay there. Just shortening it up for the guys by about a mile over the whole race. Then they work back up around Shark Island. Where do they go then? Run down to Carraba, back up to Rose. Go back up to Clark Island, down to Chowder Bay, back up around Shark, back down here to Athol, and then work to the finish in off Clark Island.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy. Well, there's the Rag and Famish, a very clear winner last week in very different conditions with a light easterly breeze, and Harry Price and the team got the job done last week, but very different today. Josh McKnight's back on board with Harry Hall, and they were quite outstanding with the big rig in last week, but it's all different today as there's Athelbite there, Taronga Park Zoo, and Bradley's Head. We're just to the western side of that, and today's race is sponsored by Marine Outlet, but I don't think their boat's out today. I believe their small rig's not quite ready, and it's certainly a small rig day. But the other news is that Big Pete is out. Now, it's not named after me, but tell us a bit about Big Pete, Andrew.
Well, Noakes, Big Pete, Sean Langman's dad, Pete, Big Pete, passed away fairly recently, and so Sean's reached out, renamed the ship. But on the steering stick, Ash Rooklin with Ed Powys and Reese Mara, and so I'm not too sure how the combination is shaping up for the Giltinan, but Ash stepping back and coming back in, and obviously Ed Powys and Reese Mara both A-grade 18-footer sailors, and so we expect some pretty solid performance from them, subject to a bit of time for practicing, I would say.
Yeah, well, individually, as you say, very good sailors, and it's nice to see this boat out. It's been over in New Zealand doing some whatever's over there, and but it's back here, and it will be out for the JJs, and we believe that Sean Langman will be back steering for the title. And also Shore and Partners, an interesting crew aboard the Her today, which is going to carry through to the JJs. Dave O'Connor comes aboard as skipper. Trent Barnabas is the crew, along with Tom Quigley. Now,
that's a pretty good lineup, I would say. And Dave O'Connor certainly brings a wealth of experience and determination to the sport. Pete, this racetrack's going to be tough for these guys today. It'll be a Spinnaker down to Chowder, more or less, and probably, might be an early drop or a late set, one or the other. But the 2 sail for each, Jimmy, from the back of Shark down to here where we're at the start line.
Plentyon.com.
Yeah. Well, we're at the starting line, and what have we got here, Andrew? 20 plus here, I'd say. There's a good gust coming through now.
Yeah, up towards 25 here. Yeah. But the significant lulls in it, so it's 16 to 25. It's on this side of the track at least, as we discussed. It's not, there might be some spiky bits above that, but it's completely saleable on this side, but the beat up into Rose Bay might be a bit more difficult.
Be very tough, but it's a good test. The first time we've had a good, strong southerly this year, and with the Giltinans just 3 weeks away, I think everyone will be looking forward to the challenge of a strong breeze day. But just saying before, the club championship, heat 14, there's today, and in 2 weeks' time, the final heat. We might try and have a look at the point score if we can. All races to count. There's no drops in this club championship. So after 13 races, there we go. We've got Andu leading from Smeg, Michael Coxon, and Lazarus Capital Partners, Marcus Ashley Jones is in third spot. Then Yandu, Shore and Partners, Rag and Famish. But it looks as though it'll probably be a battle between Andu and Smeg. But we'll see how that all plays out today with no drops in the big number of races. That could certainly come into account, certainly today. But we're just awaiting the start. We're probably about 10 minutes or so. A few of the skiffs are out. A few of them are still coming out of Double Bay in these very strong conditions. And we've got a team from Germany, Andrew, today, gearing up for the Giltinan.
Yeah, so the beginnings of the visitors turning up for the Giltinan. Team Germany, Heinrich Bayer and Tommy and Andy Martin, the crew, and they were pretty good in light air last year, weren't they, Jimmy?
They were very good.
Yep.
I believe, don't they have a new boat under them this season? Or a newish boat?
I think it's the former Balmain Slate, a different boat.
Yeah.
Shall we say. But, they were in the top 10 in the light medium air races last year, and I think they're optimistic they might come to next year's Giltinan with a new ship. Wow.
Well, there's I think a 29er, is it, coming down to trying to keep itself afloat, and I think they're starting after us, the 18s today, just to run through the course to give them a taste of what it's like on a fresh to frightening Sydney Harbour. And that's the view as we look down into Rose Bay. See a lot of cruise boats locked up in the lee there to get out of this very strong southerly. Clear sky, hardly a cloud in the sky, and it's going to be a very good test of fresh weather sailing today.
So Pete, the 29er, and they had a shoot up and they pulled it down, but
there's 4 of them, I think there is today, Bucko. So handed you the list.
Yeah, we've got a little list here. Anyway, we'll talk about them as they come on screen. But
okay, well, we're just watching Rag and Famish. They've come down to the starting area and they're just sorting a few things out.
Some problems with their jib take up and the jib downhill take up and a couple other take ups there.
Yeah, they're having Josh doing the fixing.
Yeah, we're looking upwind now, Jimmy, to Rushcutters Bay. There's plenty of wind coming down now.
The
this is a
Exxon
good
works of the
score
CYCA.
Yeah, that's a bit uprange from what we had half an hour ago.
It's most we've seen it for a while.
Yep.
And Yandu, John Winning, the veteran, coming down wind without a spinnaker. He's got a reef in his mainsail. I don't know whether many others have, but he seems to go pretty well with his smaller rigs. And just how big's that? About a foot down from the top. We can see the top of the mast there.
I think it's 400 millimetres.
Is it? Right, okay.
Yeah. So it's enough to make the bear away easier and not perhaps, the luff round's still probably pretty good. The standard of effort obviously just a bit lower, and it's quite surprising, in the various times in the class, we've had little mast stumps that you remove or reinsert to jack the mast up and down a little bit. It's quite surprising how much difference that makes.
So, as always, feel free to follow Sail Media on the social media platforms to stay up to date. And we'll let you know what else we're up to. Just an early reminder that we won't be here next week because there's no 18-foot racing on the harbour due to Sail GP. They're racing, they've got practice day on Friday and racing on Saturday and Sunday, so little or no racing on the harbour, so the 18s are having a day off. And they'll be back in 2 weeks' time after today. And then that's the final race before the Giltons start. But we'll bring you up to date after today's race of the remaining program for the rest of the year as we wind up to the JJ Giltons. And here's one of the 29ers coming downwind. You can see the white caps. There's plenty of them today.
Yeah, 29ers handling it pretty well though, Pete. Too bad.
Got to get upwind and downwind yet, Andrew, so we'll see how they go.
Paradoxically, getting upwind is easier than
Yes,
getting downwind.
yeah. Well, you've got to get round the weather mark. That's the big trick today. But the turning mark in Chowder Bay, which is the northern of the two yachting association buoys there, is quite close to the headland there, isn't it? You want to make sure you're clean going round there.
Yeah, you don't have much runway.
No, there's not much left if you make a mistake.
Yeah. Get a booking at Ripples.
Yeah.
Les Smeg.
A couple of nice restaurants on the headland there, yes, indeed.
He's been slowly getting better. Michael Cox and Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson, they've started to put their name forward at the right end of the season.
And Jimmy, we'd have to say that they'd be the favourite for today, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that'd be one of them. You got Andrews at full strength as well.
Yep.
We know Marcus isn't afraid on the Lazarus of a blow, so
not at all.
You got the blanket of those guys, and Yandu, Woody in these conditions is normally
Safe.
You put it on him. Thanks, Pete. Thanks for bailing me out.
So you just made sure that Woody's going to go on the tide, Peter. So
I don't know about that, but he stays safe, and all of a sudden he pops up in second or third spot because there's thrills and spills in front of him.
No, but we're trying to figure. They're pulling the boat up just behind the camera boat.
We're trying to figure out who the winner is, Shippers.
Well, we're talking through the fleet, you see, as we watch the Royal Oak Four Pines. Alex Marinelli, Matt Doyle and Darcy McCracken.
With a reef also, Pete.
They've got a reef in, yep. And
they're a product of the 29ers as well, so, it's good to see that they're coming through.
Big reef there.
Definitely know they're alive today.
Yeah. Well, they're handling it pretty well.
Interesting to see how the new Finport goes today, because we've only seen him in big sail mode.
So they're going into sequence in about 50 seconds here.
Yep. Okay, well, a lot of the fleet is either not coming out or not out here yet. It's,
we're barely at 1/3 of the entries on the line or near the line.
There's still a couple of boats coming out of Double Bay, and they're going to be struggling to make it. Jimmy, we're almost at signals, are we?
Yeah, not far off. I'll be inside sort of.
So heat 14
seconds, 30 seconds to signals.
Of the club championship, and a really fresh southerly breeze on the harbour. Probably eliminate a lot of the spectator fleet, big and small, and but there's plenty of wind, that's for sure.
Yeah, entirely sailable though, Pete, at least this end of the track. But
there you go.
Yep. Okay.
You've also got to remember that the last couple of times we've had a bit of breeze. It's been too much and they've called it off. So, it's they really haven't had the sort of top end second rig in the boat for sail other than training.
Yeah. But I mean, Pete, some of the crews might have just elected to stay ashore, knowing that Gilton's not too far away. And
there's a lot that are not out here, Andrew, as you say.
Yep. Typically, the conditions do tend to lighten as we get into March in Sydney. But this is the unusual clear sky cold front, isn't it, Peter? Somewhat reminiscent of the certain Sydney Hobart races.
Yes, yeah. I haven't seen Marcus Ashley Jones out in Lazarus. Have we spotted him? I haven't seen him.
No, but for the viewers at home, when they put the boat in the water in Double Bay and you got it head to wind facing the shore in this breeze, and you got to clamber in as you bear away, and the bullet hits you out of the park that you can't see on the water, you're a
lot
chance
can
of swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a tough gig.
I haven't seen Balmain Slake, Birkenhead Point Marina. Anyway, we'll see. Burrawang's down there in the distance with the blue on the...
Birkenhead Point Marina's down at the pin there, just left the screen.
Oh, okay, we've got Birkenhead, that's good. Okay, let's have a look at this starting line, Andrew. That's the the leeward end right down in the area of Bradley's Head. It's a pretty good line, does it?
No, it's terrific.
Yeah.
But Pete, just looking upwind, they won't want to sail in the strongest wind, which at the moment is actually on the right edge, surprisingly. And it's strongest there because of the little funnel operates through Rushcutters Bay, the bay nearest to the city, which has got a park behind it, and so not too much land friction and a longer fetch to the race area itself.
Okay, just under 3 minutes.
Quite a tough lay into the top mark up at Clark Island.
Yes, yeah.
Also.
At the mouth of Double Bay, that's the big bear away, and then when the incitement really starts on the run down to Chowder Bay.
And the committee's made a good call there, not sending him down to Obelisk, even though we love Obelisk.
It's good for the spectators, but not good for the competitors, Obelisk, that's for sure.
No, that's right.
We've certainly seen the Demolition Derby down there, most times in strong breezes.
2 minutes 30.
The fleet will be well behaved, you'd imagine, in these conditions. I don't think anyone will be really pushing the envelope too hard. Shaw and Partners is out. We see him. Dave O'Connor at the helm. Was he runner-up in the 16 Nationals, Jimmy?
Davey O'Connor was runner-up in the 16 Nationals, sailing the Noakes 16-foot skiff with Pete Mack. Oh no, they
end up second or not?
Third. They ended up because of the rudder pin that came out.
That's right. They had it shot to pieces in the rudder.
Yep, at the
rudder company in the last heat.
The victory speech penciled in.
Put it away for next year.
Lucky it was only in pencil. Very disappointing for those boys.
Anyway, we'll see how Dave goes with Trent Barnabas and Tom Quigley today. And the breeze just down a fraction here for this start, which we've got about a minute and a half to go.
I mean, we've got 10 boats on the line, Pete, or in the vicinity, counting as starters.
I think I see Balmain Slake. He's going to miss it. He's right in Double Bay just coming out. He's going to be late. Looks like well, there's the committee boat just coming up to a minute.
The Andu, the Smeg, the Rag Famish, the Yandu of the top end of the fleet here. Shaw and Partners also.
There's the Burrawang with a minute to go. He's got a reef in. That's the sound signal for a minute to go.
And the fleet pretty well behaved.
Yeah, you'd expect that. Oh, Burrawang just capsized just short of the starting line. So he's going to start from a long way behind. It's not a quick get up there, but there's Smeg up to windward. To leeward of him, Rag and Famish.
Just coming to 30 seconds.
Okay, the Rag and Famish has put the pedal down to get down to that other end. As you can see,
he's early though, I think, Pete.
See the Burrawang capsized there, trying to get up. Did Yandu get up out of that? Oh, Yandu will make it. He'll be a bit late. 15 seconds to go.
Big Pete, Ash, Ed, Mara having a crack. Rig looks big though, doesn't it, Jimmy?
It's going to be a clean start. Clean start, I think. 3, 2, 1. Yep.
Yep, that'll do it.
Noakes at the weather end. Rag and Famish down to leeward. I haven't seen Andu.
I think they were in the tide over towards Bradley's. I saw them coming down on a chute.
I did see them, but I can't see them now.
No.
Yandu will be a bit late at the committee boat. He's missed it by about 30 seconds after his earlier capsize, but they're away.
Well, that wouldn't worry him.
And Shaw and Partners up to windward with Dave O'Connor at the helm, but it's Rag and Famish hot-footing it towards Bradley's, all on starboard.
And the breeze bending a little bit left in this next line. Shaw and Partners looks pretty strong coming out of the committee boat end.
You were right, Andrew. That was rig on Noakes or Big Pete. It looks a big rig, big small rig, isn't it? Gee.
Want to have plenty of reefing options.
And here's Yandu with the reef in, chugging along nicely. On the beat up to Double Bay near Clark Island. Burrawang has got himself up. He's a couple of 100 metres behind, but the fleet is the Shaw and Partners, Big Pete, which is Noakes, Smeg, Rag and Famish, the Royal Oak, Birkenhead Point, Noakes Youth, and Yandu, and Burrawang. And there's Balmain Slake coming down without the spinnaker. Oh, no, he's right over there. Who's that without the spinnaker? Anyway, we'll concentrate on the racing fleet.
Yep.
That'd be the Team German.
Yeah, and I can see Andu, she's still capsized to the south of Bradley's Head, so her day is well and truly over. The fleet's still on starboard. And what do you like here, Andrew? That Noakes, Big Pete's doing a good job. Ash Rooklyn.
He's flying along. I like less tax, Peter.
Well, they're all like that too. No one has taxed since the start.
That's right.
They'll probably go out and get close to a port tack ley line.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad plan.
So when they come back, it'll probably be Rag and Famish.
Yeah, Rag and Famish leading,
He'll be leading.
pretty comfortably.
He's pretty quick down there.
Getting through the water quick, aren't they?
Yeah.
We haven't seen Finport out, have we? I don't think.
No,
Negative.
So,
The only other 18 that's gone past us is a kitchen maker, Caesarstone, with 2 reefs in their main. So they got like a metre plus,
Wow.
almost metre reef in their main.
That Big Pete's struggling now, Andrew. You can see his main
Yeah,
invertibles. We're capturing the leading boat, the Rag and Famish, Harry Price.
I think the Big Pete, they might be going to the shops with some stiffer battens for this type of wind.
Anyway, Rag and Famish will come back and it'll be between her and Smeg as Noakes. Big Pete is just about to... Looks all sorts of trouble there. He's...
No, and when the mates and flaps, they get lee helm and they get very difficult to do anything with.
So the Rag is tacked and he's clear ahead.
Yeah, and his rig looks the right size, doesn't it, Jimmy, in a kind of a way, yeah?
Yeah, well, like they've done a lot of development on that boat, right?
Yeah.
It's you know, they've got the condition, they've got the whole breeze range right.
Yeah.
Oh, Smeg got a bit wobbly in the tack.
Yeah, and that was partly caused by the big ferry, Pete. Bit of dirty air off the big cat ferry going on the windward side.
That's Balmain Slate that's on the screen there. That's the Team Germany.
Yeah. So they're just going for a training sail by the look of it.
I think they're poking their nose out here and going, yep, we're going home.
Yeah.
Big Pete in big trouble there in the
Pete has
background.
been in big trouble for a while, but it's the Rag and Famish that leads. Last week's winner in the distance, another capsize, 18-footer bar and restaurant.
So these guys are making it look pretty easy, actually. And it's solid 25 where they are now, the strongest bit of wind we've seen on this first beat.
Shaw and Partners, they're probably third behind Rag and Famish and Smeg.
Wow.
And then Yandu would be next as Big Pete finally capsizes. And they've done a pretty good job, Harry Price here. He's just short of the mark. He'll have one tacking in, port rounding, and then hang on to your hats.
Bucko, that issue with Big Pete, is that because the boom is so low in the boat, like they can't dump enough main, you think?
No, there's a bunch of issues there, and we'll leave them to sort it out, I think, mate, you know. But up range, it's tough. And
He's just approaching the weather mark. You'll see it in a moment. Spot on.
Great low line.
Yep.
Rag
And
and Famish.
just getting a bit lighter spot to get round here, which will favour him greatly.
A tough job to tack and bear, but they've got to...
You just take your time,
Yep. Take your
release
time.
the control lines, and away you go.
He's around, on his way. Smeg probably. Oh, Rag and Famish. Someone's
It's
gone round the bow. They're gone. They're gone, almost.
Gone.
Yeah, gone, going,
I did say
gone.
it was a tough job, Peter, didn't
Yeah,
I?
Smeg
Weren't you an
now.
auctioneer once?
Smeg around. The forward hand went round the bow, up to the bow as the fleet are reaching in now. Smeg's the next to try and get dialed down.
Big deceleration, Smeg having trouble. You just can't get that bear away until the boat gets up to speed.
There he is. Oh, there's a prang down behind Rag and Famish, the Royal Oak, and
Birkenhead Point Marina.
oh, boy, on a day like this, that's the last thing you want. But anyway, the race continues. Smeg now leads.
Pretty good effort from the Rag. They've got up and going again.
That is a good effort.
Yep. And
Very.
they're still second.
Shaw and Partners, third. And
And they got a little lull to get the bear away. They've got to...
gee, that was a nasty collision down there between Birkenhead and the Royal Oak.
Yeah.
So we're watching the fleet go round the weather mark. Next to be is Noakes Youth. Why, these boys have done a terrific job. Tom Cunnage, Flynn Sprott and Nathan Edwards. Next to go will be Fisher Paykel, Jordan Gertis. He's got a reef in. Oh, hang on to it, boys.
Bit of water
Wobbly
skiing.
wheel.
And then Yandu will be next.
Woody chine in, beautiful.
Yeah, he's got to get away. Oh, crew getting a good old bath. And the next will be Simon Nerd and the Burrowang with Cam McDonald and Dan Phillips aboard. As they're screaming off now to Chowder. The first spinners are popping out. And it's the Smeg, the race leader, that's first to set shoots. Oh, there's two boats still tangled together, the Burrowang and the Royal Oak and the Birkenhead.
Having a protest meeting standing on the centreboard.
Yeah, that looked nasty. Okay, the three leaders now all got spinners up. And they're off to Chowder Bay with Smeg in a commanding lead at the moment, following the capsize of Rag and Famish, who've done a terrific job to get up and going again. Smeg in the distance, Shaw and Partners the red shoot, the Rag to leeward and ahead.
What we'd say, a bumpy water VMG run.
These boats are going to probably have to jive, are they, Andrew? Do you think? The Rag and Shaw and Partners?
Yeah. So
there's a few more tricks to play out here, and just as we're
the Shaw and Partners going to be in trouble here.
in the background, I think is Andu.
Yep. Mainsail down.
Mainsail down, so their day is well and truly done. So it can happen to the best of them. And the best of them is what we've seen here with the Smeg, Rag and Famish and Shaw and Partners.
Wow, Shaw and Partners at the limit there. You know, on the Kamaket we're doing about 24 knots, parallel to Shaw and Partners.
Smeg has opened up a terrific lead. She's going to lay down, I think.
Demanding conditions here, Peter. Rough water, power boat. Got the Meg about to have to go to the drop off in the distance.
Breeze coming out of Rose
very
Bay.
tough.
We're on the Shaw and Partners, Dave O'Connor. This will be testing these boys, Trent Barnabas and Tom Quigley.
Wow, big points here for the guy on the steering stick.
Oh, look at Rag and Famish bouncing through these waves.
Instinctive and very tough.
You'd like to see Davey O'Connor just get a little bit lower on wire just for safety. He's wobbling around there a bit.
I don't blame him, really.
Might be on the inner run, Jimmy.
Yeah. You'd be doing the Woody 101, wouldn't
We'd
you?
all be sitting on the gunnel, wouldn't we? Oh, the Rag's coming round the bow of Shaw and Partners.
Shaw and Partners in really rough water.
Yeah, there's a powerboat wake. I can report in the distance, Smeg's got the spinnaker down.
Yep.
He's not quite to the leeward mark yet. But anyway, there he is. Oh, boy, this is a terrific run here.
And Rags ahead.
Sure.
He's gone.
Ball came off the wing at once.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
dear.
a big stack, isn't it?
Oh,
And
Rag.
keep your eyes on the Rag over that ferry wash. My goodness.
dear, oh dear. It's all happening,
That
as
is
they say.
really gutsy stuff, Pete.
Well, the Rag's now still got a bit of work to do to get the chute.
He's
okay. He's laying down to the mark. Yeah, okay.
Just a lazy drop, she'll be
Yeah,
right.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fine. Smeg's around. And on his way up into Rose Bay in these really fresh conditions now. Southerly booting in hard. 20 plus knots. 25 more in the gusts. But it's Smeg. Neat and tidy. And the Rag, remember, he's already had a capsize. And
So-
he'll be about 40 seconds in arrears.
We mentioned this moat didn't have much runway, Pete, and for the viewers, with the state of the wind and the tide, the mark is about 100 metres from the bricks.
Yep.
And the mighty Rag with a good dial up. Tidy.
And looking upwind, boy.
Yeah. Smeg leads by
42 seconds.
Thank you, Peter.
Yep.
I was going to say 10 don't lengths. Right.
That'll do us.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a demolition derby behind, coming downwind. Shaw and Partners perished. Burrowing's over.
Yeah.
Noakes Youth will be third, I think.
Yes, yes, Noakes Youth third.
Wow, that's a terrific effort.
Yeah, and those blokes, you know, they're pretty good yachtsmen. They're just a bit light for an 18-footer, but they've handled it pretty well so far today.
Well, they've got this next one's the big test up into Rose Bay.
Yeah.
And then behind them, I think, is Fisher Paykel with a reef in.
A reef and a reef spinnaker.
And he's got a
somehow, Pete.
spinnaker that's a bit tangled up.
And then just to the right of that screen is Yandu, John Winning.
Yeah. So we'll just watch the turn up here at the Leeward Mark at Chowder Bay, remembering they're not sailing the full southerly course, not going to Obelisk, they're going to Chowder as the Noakes Youth. Tom Kunich, Fringe Sprout and Nathan Edwards. So far, so good.
Yep.
Here they go.
Haven't been on the riding lever to our knowledge anyway.
And they're around. Nice job. Fisher Paykel's still trying to get this spinnaker down. Oh, he's going to have a bit on here, Jordan Gertis.
Not sure what was going on.
Okay, now they've got it down.
Stuck on the head of the jib for quite a long time.
So that at least they got the spinnaker down.
And a big bit of wind coming. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And where's Yandu going?
Well, you can't get the dial up done, so going.
He's got to do something in a minute.
Well, Pete,
There he comes. Okay, well,
you don't want to do another barroway, do you? You just want to do one dial up, and so he's giving himself plenty of room.
well, yeah, but he's running out of real estate down there.
And that's okay.
Okay, here he comes. Right. Okay, so Fisher Paykel's round in fourth spot. Looks tidy with a reef in. There's Yandu. He'll be fifth. And there's not much else left.
Oh, no, the Balmain's coming down, Pete,
She's coming down way on the distance.
with the chute on. They're only 2 minutes away.
Well, that's it. Got to stay upright here. There's a lot to play yet.
Yeah. What do you think, Jimmy? You think they'll run the full course or they'll shorten her up?
Well, there was rumours going around a bit of shorten up, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Whether they do, we'll find out.
Okay, so Yandu's round in fifth spot. He's probably 3 or 4 minutes, good 3 or 4 minutes behind the leader, Smeg, who's up off Steel Point in very fresh conditions on the harbour. Just see all the white caps as Yandu's smashing their way upwind.
Woody with a bit of lee help.
Yeah, that's not recommended. That makes life tough.
Exactly.
I think. And here's the only other boat we think remaining is the Balmain Slate. Oh, there's another boat behind him with a white chute too, Jimmy. Yes. These Balmain boys,
Smoking.
they are rocketing.
And they started late. Yep.
You'll see appearing in a moment, just extracting themselves from the capsize is Shaw and Partners. Still not quite up and going. We'll see them any second there, or will we? They're just to windward now of Balmain Slate. And it's
And not on screen, Fisher Paykel capsized trying to attack.
In a very solid bit of
yeah,
pressure.
this is fresh as a seen, Andrew.
Yeah. Pretty close to 30 knots of wind there.
So Fisher Paykel, he's in the tide. So it's a pretty good race up the front, which we'll get to in a moment. There's Rag and Famish. He's up to windward of Smeg. You'll see him to the right of screen in a moment as we're watching.
Looks like the Rags made it pretty
This is
good
Noakes
go.
coming downwind.
That's Big Pete.
Noakes Big Pete.
Okay, so they've had a long bath.
Yeah, and they've got a bit of work to do ahead of them. So a war of attrition. You stay safe and you end up in the top half dozen easily.
I think there's only half dozen out here, Pete.
Yeah, there is now.
Well, there is now, that's for sure.
They're the two leaders in the distance. Spec to the right or in the middle, and then to the left, the Rag and Famish. And here's Noakes Youth. Boy, these boys are really putting in a terrific performance.
And they're not too far off probably two of our top
Yeah.
teams. You know, I think it's fabulous effort by the Noakes Youth guys.
And there's plenty of wind for everyone.
And their setup looks pretty nice, Jimmy. They've just got good mainsail inversion, and you know the helm doesn't look too bad in the puffs. Yep. Which is just reminding me that Nathan Edwards in the bow, good 16-footer crew as well.
They were up there for the swim of the day down at the Botany Bay Championship at St George.
And that would have been a big prize, would it, Jimmy?
Mate, there was a full run-out black nor'easter, run-out tide black nor'easter down there. The graveyard was in full operation.
Yep. Yes, I've seen some of Mr. Chittenden's pictures. Looks pretty impressive.
Smeg looks as though he's could be going home, is he? He's a long way past what looks like the ley line to go round the island. Would that be possible, do you think, Andrew?
I'd be surprised.
I would be too, but obviously you want to minimise your tax, but
What was the points difference between Andrew and
oh no,
Smeg?
he's just tacked. I take
There
it
you
all
go.
back, Cocko.
Yep.
I should never have doubted you.
Rag and Famish is in the lead, I think.
Would you think so?
Yep.
Anyway, if you've just joined us, it's the
Wow, it's windy.
Club Championship Heat 14 of the 18-footers on a very, very windy Sydney Harbour. A clear sky southerly, gusting well over 20 knots. It's been a war of attrition. We've seen a lot of boats that didn't start, a lot of capsized that did start, and we've only left about 6 boats still racing at the moment. We're watching Rag and Famish. It's probably close to second. That's Shark Island in the background. That's the next turning mark. And up to windward of Rag and Famish, right on Shark Island, is the race leader, Smeg. Both boats on starboard. Minimal tax. Seen some thrills and spills already downwind. And remembering Rag and Famish have already had a capsize at the weather mark the first time. But this crew of Michael Coxon and Ricky Bridge and Tom Anderson in the Smeg are doing a terrific job. But Harry Price is throwing the challenge down. It's a race in 2 at the moment. To see the white caps. That's Rose Bay. A massive white caps.
So these guys are looking pretty controlled, Pete, to me.
Yeah.
Looks pretty okay.
And there's the other boat in control, Smeg. Shark Island Lighthouse. And they will still lead by quite a bit, I think.
Oh, not much in it, Peter, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he's still the leader though. So there'll be one tacking in, I think, from both these boats.
Yep. The less tax theory will apply.
It is very fresh. So look, it'll be a main and jib reach, I think. The next leg, Andrew.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
You won't get a spinnaker on, that's for sure.
robust test of technique and
Robust.
strength.
It's a good word, but
Yep.
it's a very appropriate word. They're the 2 leaders. It'll won't be much in it, but Smeg will still lead, but they've got to get the tax done. That's a terrific shot of the both boats there. Still on starboard. How close? No, they're not far off it, are they?
Yeah, not far off a ley line. Rag and Famish is slightly higher upwind, Pete, than Smeg, and that's sort of typical of their 2 setups to some degree. Here they go now.
Okay, there they go.
And it's a good safe tack, I think, or maybe it's not.
Oh, something's caught on the mains. What's going on there?
I don't know.
Oh, they're over. Whatever it is, they're over. Oh, dear, oh dear. Well, that's their second capsize today.
It was a good soak tack until it wasn't.
You see the disappointment on Harry there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's disappointing for those boys. Starting to throw the challenge down to Smeg, but Smeg got the tack done. Now it comes the bear away and the two-sail reach. And looking back, wow, it's a big gap now to the third place. Rag will get up and remain in second, I would think. It's just no Youth who are closing in on second spot, but a long way back. Okay, that's the Shark Island marks in the background. And plenty of wind.
A little overload by Smeg, of no concern.
Just safety first here.
Can't get the bow down yet.
He'll be right. We've got all the faith in Coco. Come on, Coco. Don't let us down.
There's no hurry, though,
No,
mate.
there's no hurry at all. Good even Granny. Okay.
Well, Pete, in an ideal world, a little bit of sail ease, a little bit of centreboard up, about 300 mil of centreboard up.
So probably going up to windward here a bit will make the clearance on Bradley's a lot easier. He's probably looking for a little soft spot in the lee of Point Piper, perhaps to get
here they go now.
the bow down. Here they go. They're slowly getting it down. Slowly, slowly.
Yep. Just got to get the windward chine in and
there's
the
gonna be
rig in and back of the bus. No,
They're coming into a soft spot here. There they go.
there you go. That's patience, isn't it?
Oh, well, good sailing. Patience and good sailing.
And they might have the centre chute to get down, but they might not. There we go. Wow.
Well, talking about clearing Bradley's, that's the next hurdle in this fresh to frightening conditions.
Right at the limit there, bow in the water.
Meanwhile, back on the track, Rag and Famish is up and still in second spot, but gee, Smeg's off to the pitches here.
Tommy down the back of the boat, trying to
Something's-
fix something.
Yeah, I think they've got something on the rudder, Jimmy. A bit of bag or weed or something. Or he lost his hat, maybe.
Okay, they're just
Sure, he's got a few more in the wardrobe.
Yeah.
back to course.
Awesome. And really tough. They're seeking depth, Pete, so they don't have to set a chute or jibe or anything silly. VMG running main and jib. Sort of. And I won't mind getting on the low edge of the track here. Easy to come up, hard to get down.
And the second boat just around Shark Island now. It's the Rag and Famish. He's had two capsizes.
Oh my goodness. The Smeg.
He's got plenty on.
So, very fine line between success and failure in this wind strength and even the fairly moderate water roughness that we've got. Doesn't take much. Just the skipper missing his footing is usually sufficient to give you a visit to the riding lever.
They're off to leeward of Bradley's at the moment, but
We're
up they
round
come.
up.
Oh, Smeg! Oh, fell off. Coco
Fell off.
Both fell off. There.
A big wheel stand.
Oh, boy. Well, now what happens? Well,
Well, now we're waiting for Rag and Famish who aren't up.
the Smeg is over.
On screen, the Rag.
Right at the Bradley's Head
Okay.
channel marker. So the thing will be now, can the Rag and Famish get down here and get in front of Smeg?
Well, there's no rush. They've got the
No rush to do anything here.
away
Rob,
done.
I'm going green to green on you.
So here's Smeg, Harry Price and the boys. Gee, we've seen some excitement. Well, for the our viewers, I hope you're enjoying it. Tough conditions out here, really tough. Boat handling at an absolute premium. And there's Noakes just behind them. He's off to the pitches as well. Here comes Smeg. Rag and Famish.
He's just in a lull and he's about to get absolutely mapped in about 30 seconds.
Get out, free double bow, you really cop it. So they'll be looking ahead and see what's happened to Smeg. Smeg is still upside, or not upside down, he's still capsized. And the Noakes Youth clearly in third at the moment. And they're chasing there on the Rag.
And the Rag just about to get into the strong wind. There they go.
The Shore and Partners not on screen there.
Yeah, I think he's going home, Jimmy, I think. Dave O'Connor and Trent Barnums and Tom Quigley, their day's done after that spectacular capsize.
Treno earned his biscuits yesterday, also down at Botany Bay. Like, I don't know how these blokes do it anymore, backing up 2 days.
So both boats here having a bit of trouble getting the bow down far enough.
Been very impressed with this Noakes Youth team. They've done a super job. See, top of screen the Rag, and no sign of Smeg getting upright. They've got a safety boat alongside them.
Yeah, it didn't look too bad, but yeah, they're in a pretty windy place in OP.
Anyway, here's
People
the
diving
Noakes.
in the water over near Smeg to go over and give assistance. So I don't know what's happened there.
Well, let's hope everything's okay.
He's coming.
Noakes.
The Noakes in all sorts of bother here.
Get the main
Got to
on.
get the main sheet on, boys.
She didn't drop the main sheet, I think.
Not recommended at any time.
No,
Not in a day like this, anyway.
never.
Anyway, they're still there. They're still alive and fighting. So a lot more to play out yet, I think, in this very small fleet now. As the Noakes boys are still not under control.
Problem is, the sheet end, he's got his hat on a tether. And I think it got around the main sheet while they're trying to ease it.
It's always a problem. And
Absolutely low hooks today, boys, no doubt about that. But this boys have got to get the boat away. Very much easier said than done. Here they go, having a go at it. Yep. Oh, what a burst of spray. Okay, they're down there.
And away in the distance, just coming into shot, the Rag and Famish just about to round the bottom mark. So a bit of square running.
Oh. Yeah, there's the turning mark. Noakes is around.
Rag and Famish beat.
Sorry, Rag and Famish. Noakes Youth chasing hard. They've had their moments, but they're still upright.
Yep. Also, Pete, Burrowang Village Hotel appears to be going home.
And then I think way in the distance is Yandu just going round Shark Island now. So he would be in third spot. But anyway, we're on the two leaders, the Rag and the Noakes Youth.
And a little light spot for the Noakes, a bit of respite.
Yeah, it's hard getting square like this, isn't it, for him?
Yeah, but he knows that if he can stay upright, he'll get second.
So there's the rescue
He
boat
might
that
get
was
first.
with the rescue boat that was with Smeg is they look like they pulled a crew member on board. They're racing back towards Double Bay, so hopefully everyone's all right over there.
All right, well, let's
So Noakes now coming to the bottom mark.
get our fingers crossed there. But Noakes, yeah.
Big puff coming for the dial up.
Yeah, it's a really another good, strong squall coming out of Double Bay, Garden Island area.
Not
That's
what you
the
want before the
mark.
dial up, is it? The big unload.
Oh, they're just starting to get it now.
I think they'll be okay. They've got the wing in there right. They're good.
Okay, he's got the main sheet. That's the main thing.
Safety,
Well done.
a good safe dial up.
They're
Not
good
nice.
boys. Tom Coonage, Bryn Sprout, and Nathan Edwards. Well done.
I think that's all that I can see that's upright at this stage.
I think it was-
in operational.
Yandu was, but he's way back. Anyway, so far back, it's just a battle in two at the moment.
Should we go? Should we leave these guys and go get these guys coming down? Yeah.
Wow, it's a
Guys,
tough day.
you know, it's possible the committee will shorten it at the top here. I think, given there's only 2 boats left and there's a few issues. Or 2 boats left really mobile, Pete, yeah?
I can't even really see anyone else upright coming.
Yeah.
I don't want to put the mocker on it, but I don't think Noakes Youth's had a capsize,
They
has
haven't
he?
had a swim.
No.
And the only other boat still operating is Big Pete. No, Burrowing's going home.
Well, where's Yandu?
I think he's on the fin again, Pete. Or for the first time or whatever.
It'd take a lot for him to go home. But anyway,
Yeah.
we'll concentrate on these boats. And boy, it's still fresh. Just going up to the next turning mark, which is going to be up in Clark Island, Double Bay area, the Rag and Famish. Harry Price, Josh McKnight, Harry Hall. Already had 2 capsizes, but boy, when they went upright, they've been doing a pretty good job, haven't they?
Well, you know, they've kind of got the conventional size number 2 rig, and so they're a little bit more efficient than the guys with bigger sails. And that sort of showed. They're a little faster upwind than spec. And they got it tipping over and getting going again.
It's not something you want to have on your resume, Bucko.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Good at tipping over.
No, the other bit, the getting going again.
Yes, that part.
Well, they were in the, I guess, fortunate position when they capsized. They didn't have a spinnaker up, which makes life a little bit easier. They're laying in now towards Double Bay.
Yeah, look, capsized and attack's not too bad. Sneaks up and going again, Jimmy, so I don't know what's going on down there.
I think they might be heading home, mate. There was, I think, Johnny Walton, I was seeing him jump in the water.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we're travelling with a rag. Just a couple of minutes sailing away from the windward mark. No sign of a finishing line, so they're going to let it go to full
No.
course.
So they round here and do it all again. The kamikaze run down into Chowder Bay.
Committee vessel just about to come in a shot.
There's one of the naval boys on Sydney Harbour just passing to leeward of the Rag.
And a good puff coming down from Double Bay.
He just got a bit of relief under Clark Island, but now he's getting out into the main part of the wind. So he'll go down to the Port Leyline, you'd think, and as you said, minimise those tacks.
They won't get in a rush on the bear away this
No,
time.
no.
Accelerate first. Bear away later.
Noakes Big Pete is upright.
Yep.
Sending it off
Right.
Bradley's head.
So he's in, still going. Anyway, this boat is still going and he's going the fastest.
Here he goes. Had a bit of trouble tacking before, not this time. Beautiful tack. 20 plus knots of wind.
He's left himself a bit of runway to come in at this mark, which is probably smart because last time he had to do tack bear away, didn't he?
Yeah, and
This might give him a bit of wriggle room here.
1 degree of difficulty too much, Pete.
Yeah.
Just have a look at the front of their jib there, Bucko. Like, it's the jib strop slipped, or is it just the laminate?
Oh, that's the laminate, and they say with pretty soft rig tension.
It looks
You know,
pretty soft, yeah.
Fabric tension.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Okay, here we go.
good tack. And a little lull too. So
Just, I said that last time and he got a beauty to get a ray in, but here he goes. Gently, gently.
patiently, Peter.
Yeah. No hurry.
No. So they're now far enough back and they're going fast enough, but they've got to get the jib off and the chine in. There you go. That's how to do it.
That looked pretty easy if you're good,
Well,
if you know what you're doing.
yeah.
Looked pretty easy, but nothing's
going
easy
for a
out here
spinnaker.
today.
They're going straight for a spinnaker.
Going straight for a shoot. Well, it's not that windy up the top of the track. Oh, danger there.
So we can report that the Rag is leading, Noakes Youth, then Noakes Big Pete, and then Yandu, about the only boats left on the track, I think. So a race in 4. And you'll see Yandu in a moment, way in the distance, still running down to, there he is. That's the Bradley's Head channel marker, just to the left.
And here we go. Ragged Famish.
Barreling downwind now. He's got a good minute and a half, 2 minute lead over Noakes Youth, who are just approaching the weather mark.
And a big puff just coming for the Noakes Youth Bearaway.
Okay, well, here they come. Here they go. Oh,
Don't say a puff, that's a lull.
well,
And here
crew
comes the-
off. Is it? They're in trouble.
Here comes the puff, though.
Well, one crew off. All sorts of trouble here.
He's
No, he's back on board.
put the wing in the water and
Good
let him
boys.
Scoop him up.
Skip him up and off you go.
That's another good puff they're in.
Yep.
Is he all right? I think they're all
A
right.
bit of tidying up. Some
Something-
should round something
Something
through the wing.
Patrice
netting
belt or something anyway.
Yeah.
They're looking down that area.
Yep. Some little problem.
Something's not quite right. Okay,
Worried about his hat again.
okay, well, I'll be worried about the Bearaway here, Jimmy. Oh, I'll be really worried.
Now they all look fully operational again.
Well,
Plenty of wind.
the real estate's the problem for them, Andrew. Gee, they've got a really strong gust here. They just can't get it away.
Now here they go. No.
No.
Not tipped to windward enough. Oh, that's a
There we
gutsy
go.
call.
There-
That's really up the
Hang on, all boys.
That's brave, that one.
Yeah. Wow.
They're down.
Rather than the moon.
And they're getting a bit of a relief here because we're in the bit of a lee of Point Piper. So they can really play it safe because the third guy is miles back.
Yeah, they're just in the staying upright business.
That's it. That's all you got to do here.
But they're probably high enough they're going to have to jibe to get down to the bottom, Pete. That's the next problem. Anyway, so
All right, they're good boys. Smeg going home. Is that Johnny Walton? Johnny Walton, is it?
yeah, Johnny Walton on the
Anyway,
right.
let's.
So that'd be Ricky. Ricky
Yeah.
Briggs is injured to some degree.
So let's not
Hopefully, Ricky's
say
all
too
good.
much until we know, but we hope everything's okay. Okay, is on Noakes Youth.
And right a long way in the foreground, a mile downwind, you can see Ragged Famish in a gale with no shooter.
Well, now talking of gales, here goes Noakes Youth.
And the breeze just rotated enough to get it down. So
Well, we knew it'd be fresh to frightening, Andrew, and it certainly has been. It's really been a war of attrition in this strong southerly. 4 boats only left fighting it out. Ragged Famish, Noakes Youth.
Just there in
Noakes
the
Big Pete.
background, there's a couple of the 29ers that racing with us today. Pete, just under the spinnaker of working uphill.
Yeah.
now this is going to be a bit of a test here for the Noakes Youth. A solid little wash off the ferry. 29er coming to shot as well. Yeah. And the 18-footer going faster than the catamaran, I think, Jimmy, here.
It's not where you want to be. Not where you want to be.
Oh,
Wow.
No.
That's just wrong, isn't it? Oh, well, good
Wow.
work from Tommy on the stick. Holy hellfire.
The Birkenhead Point Marina just to the right of the Camera Cat's current location. Looks like they're heading home.
And more powerboat wash, more ferry wash for the Noakes. They've
God,
survived
it's
it.
rough water, rough wind. Tom Koenig, the 49er sailor. Came with the 49ers. He's done a fantastic job in this race. Second at the moment. He's had everything thrown at him.
I've got a ferry.
He's had rough water, plenty of wind. So they're down to Chowder Bay for the turning mark before the long beat back up into Rose Bay to Shark Island. Oh, still plenty on here. These boys are working very hard. Let me tell you, this is not easy. This is not easy at all.
And I think the rag's in the tide again.
No.
No, the rag's
no,
up right
sorry.
in the
To be honest,
background of...
he's right in the background, just dialing her up at the bottom there.
Here comes the jibe on Noakes Youth.
Oh, no, it's not going to be good, is it?
Yeah,
no, yes.
It's a safety job that's unsafe, but there they go.
No, they've got it done. They're through.
So a little bit too much windward wing in the water, but not fatal.
Gee. So they got one more jibing in.
Well, they would do a job, I think, Pete.
Yes, perhaps they get fighting to the shore and
Yeah. Get into the smoother water and not out in the middle of the stream. And
probably the safest option.
Yep.
They're about a couple of minutes, 90 seconds away from the Leeward Mark and Chowder Bay. Here they go.
There we go. Jibing. Oh, that's not the right answer, boys.
Oh, here they go.
Yeah, jibe drop.
Yeah, well done.
Amazing, Jimmy. Watching that. Not quite out of the
Heard the recipe a few times, didn't it?
not quite out of the textbook, but time.
Oh,
Just slow.
Got to get
and
weight on that wire.
danger. Got to leave some
come
blocks
on,
on the wing.
boys. Put it to bed.
Yeah. But Tommy's got a pretty good feel for where the bow is to be, obviously. Otherwise, he would not get this far.
So they've got about 150 metres to the Leeward Mark here in Chowder, maybe 100 metres. And then that long, rugged, beat-up wind to Rose Bay.
Yeah, they can go and hide on the left edge here, though, Pete.
Yeah, get up under Nielsen.
Get the dial up done and just lean on it for 5 or 6 minutes to the port edge. They're cruising, making a cup of tea, sharing a sandwich. Good though, safe.
Rag and Famish, the leaders up off Nielsen Park. So he's got a very big lead. But the conditions are such that anything could happen. As we've seen with the Rag, he's already had 2 capsizes. Now Noakes, all eyes on him.
Just got a good path.
Right at the wrong time.
Here he goes.
Looks
Pretty-
okay, I think.
Pretty well controlled and well judged.
Just some big bad waves coming to him.
Yeah.
But he's round.
And again, he's going to have a bit of trouble with the ferry.
Ferry's going to be a bit of an interesting
Yeah.
problem for him.
Yeah.
He's still not 100% comfortable. The crew sitting in.
They're just tying something up or retying something or something, but
Now,
trapeze wide shot caught Jimmy.
Yep, that old chestnut.
oh, it's the lee of the ferry and the wash of the ferry.
And a little bath, but no harm done.
And he'll punch out the other side here. Here he goes. Okay, they're still not quite 100% comfortable. Ah,
there's not many times in 25 knots
No,
that
you-
18 footer is 100%.
No. But he can be a bit more comfortable than at other times, but he's comfortable now.
Yep.
3 strings, bashing his way upwind. Meanwhile, the Rag and Famish is off Steel Point and is halfway up this beat to Rose Bay. And Noakes Youth clears second, and
Daylight third at this
Daylight third. Jimmy, Noakes, Big Pete was third. I don't know where he's got to.
Just looking upwind there, Peter, that's pretty solid again, isn't it?
There's a white spinning away in the distance. That could
Yeah,
possibly
that's
be
Big
him.
Pete. Yep, with the white spinnaker way off in the distance.
So they're having a shot at it.
Well, yeah, you know, they haven't sailed for a while together, and Ash Rookland's probably never sailed with these boys, so full marks to them. There's Camp Cove way in the distance on the Noakes Youth boys.
Go. So head off and find Rag and Famish, and we'll also find Big Pete while we're heading this way.
And that's the view in Rose Bay as the wind is still very strong. And
There's
here's
Big
the
Pete.
third place getter, Big Pete. Just to the left of him is the 18-footer Barn Restaurant, I think, going home after probably numerous capsizes. But we're focused on Big Pete in third spot. He's off Shark Island running down to Chowder, and the leader Rag and Famish is at Shark Island almost going upwind. So it's a big lead now, or a big gap between first and third. The only other boat is Yandu, who's just got round the windward mark up in Double Bay, so he's a distant fourth. Okay, there's the Rag and Famish. Well, there's the Three Stooges, but sorry about that. We're just,
Moe, Curly and Charlie.
yeah, well, 1, 2 and 3, but no Three Stooges on that boat. Harry Price and the boys.
No, they've got a fair bit of pride in their performance, Pete.
Gear looks, the setup looks good, doesn't it?
Yep. And they're, you know, you can see how determined they've been. You know, they've been in the tight twice. Hasn't, you know, hasn't phased them. And
But that second one up here was like just a over rotation of the helm, crew a bit slow through the boat.
yeah, just one slip, like I
Yeah.
said. You know, it's
Like just small things.
yeah.
So they'll go out to Port Leyline here. They're right at middle of Rose Bay. Breeze down a whisker, but still plenty.
Wow, no shortage, Peter.
Uh,
No shortage at all. It's a classic, isn't it? Clear sky,
Yeah.
southerly wind, 23 degrees air temperature, 23 degrees water temperature for that as well, but not cold. A warm southerly wind in Sydney. How about it? A midsummer special.
well, this is where he perished the first time up when he went to tack on the ley line. So let's see. I'm sure he's learned from that. As you can see, spray everywhere. The boat looks very well sailed at the moment. won last week in very light conditions. Here he is out in very fresh conditions, showing the way. Been a lot of retirements. Lazarus didn't start. Finport didn't start. Burrowang's gone home. Birkenhead's gone home. Balmain Slake's gone home. The Royal Oak Fall Pine, well, he had a collision with Birkenhead. He's gone home. Shore and Partners has gone home. Smeg's gone home. The Kitchen Maker, I don't think he made it to the start. He's not there. Yandu's still going fourth. 18-footer Restaurant's gone home. And Team Germany's not out here anymore. So we're just waiting now for the rag to tack.
You're not far off.
No, he's pretty close to this port tack lay line. There he goes.
And that's a good enough tack. A little bit of wind in the water helps the cause.
No, that's very nice.
Just the right amount of jib off. They've got a little fine-tuning thing on the jib. And
Easy lay.
yeah, nice and comfy, Peter. Like one of yours.
The easy thing is the hard thing now is to get the bow down on the reach down to the second last mark.
But they're pretty comfortable, Peter, though, for 25 knots of wind.
Yeah, the setup looks really good. The lead now would be close to 4 or 5 minutes.
Did I say they were comfortable?
Oh,
Decent jib, boys.
gee, not over till it's over here.
Big lifting puff, got him.
Still a bit of work to do. Got to get back down to Athelbite now.
So Dylan having a bit of trouble getting the rag in frame.
There it is.
There she is.
That's what they leaders did last time. They went up in towards Point Piper. They got a bit of relief out of this wind to get the bow down, but here he goes. Oh.
And they'll just now be trying to get home in one piece, Peter, which carries its own dangers.
Yes. Well, we saw it happen to Spec.
Yep.
They had a comfortable lead and they tripped over themselves.
So we're now seeing them use a not quite full riding moment, presumably with a little bit more board up. I'll ask him later afterwards how much more they actually did get up and report to the viewers, but not having to do a jibe to get down to the bottom is a pretty important idea here. And not having to send a shoot also.
Yes, that
probably not a bad idea either.
that helps. There's still plenty of puffs left in this game.
About to just go into a zone and through the lee of Point Piper and into the stronger wind now. Bow's going down.
Only danger on the horizon's a ferry that's outbound, but he should be across the ferry, I think.
Oh. Wow. It's a big steering.
See the ferry there under the harbour bridge, but a lot closer than it looks.
So everybody at the back of the bus and the sheet hands sitting on the netting. I'm sorry.
The hillsman.
Harry Price sitting on the wing bar actually. Just with his head far enough outboard that he's not getting spray in his eyes.
So then we'll negotiate the ferry okay. They're across his bow. Still the breeze keeps coming and coming.
Very solid looking upwind. There they go. He's right at the limit, I'd say, here for a bit. 18, 19 knots on the motor jib.
Great crew work here. Fantastic. 3 of them working in tandem. Wonderful.
Holy.
Plenty of wind around Bradley's head now. Spiking up. Laying down easily to the mark at the moment. This will pan out pretty nice for him, I think, here, Andrew.
Yep, we got a little lull now to get them down to the mark. And
take a deep breath, and then the beat to the finish up at Clark Island. Again, easier said than done, but just get a bit of a breather.
a little bit of square running.
And they're about 100 metres short of the leeward mark here at Athelbite. And the second boat, I don't think, is even around Shark Island. Just going around now, Noakes Youth. Okay, so that's the gap. For those that know the harbour, it is massive. Okay, deep breaths, boys. You've got a bit of work to do still.
Yeah, but the clubhouse beckons, Pete, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're on their way. The bright lights of the clubhouse.
Wow, and solid bit of wind coming for them on the dial here. Holy hellfire. Oh, they got it done though, all good. Made it look easy actually.
I think they're just in front of that puff that was coming to them.
They might have been just, yep.
Okay, you think they'll stand out in a long port tack and come in on a long starboard to close the finishing line. Well, they won last week in light air, Andrew, and looking pretty good for win this week in heavy weather.
Yep.
So that's a good statement they're making.
Yep. And, you know, I think, Peter, that Rag and Smeg are the two most reliable boats of recent weeks of sailing. And that might put them near the top of the favourite board for the Gilthnan.
There's Land, who didn't get to the starting line. He got out here, but he looked to have trouble, capsized down off Bradley's head, and I think they were towed home after dropping their mainsail, so there'll be a story there as well. They should be highly favoured as well. A pretty good outfit on that boat.
Yeah, and oh wow, some pressure where we are now. So the Rags just tacked in the lull, taking the opportunity. They're about to stand into some very solid stuff.
Yeah, got to take every opportunity you can in a breeze like this.
Yeah.
Get an opportunity to tack in lighter air. Let's grab it.
Yeah. And we're only about 100 yards away from them, and it's 25, 28 knots here, perhaps, Pete, now. Just probably the strongest puff of the day. Or amongst the strongest. But they're just cruising.
We're about 3 or 4 minutes away from the finish here.
Okay. So, bit of information coming from the clubhouse in relation to Ricky Bridge. He's got a cut on his leg from the capsize of the Smeg in the hands of medical care, unfortunately for him. Something about the wing tubes, perhaps. The end of the wing tubes a bit sharp, a bit carbonish.
Because we saw 1 or 2 of them tumble, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're on Noakes Youth. Gee, I keep saying it, but these boys have done a terrific job in very tough conditions. And there's the boys that have really done the job. Remembering they've already had 2 capsizes but they've kept on keeping on. Standing out on starboard, they've probably got about another minute or so, a bit longer, tack, and then come in and lay the pretty close to laying the finish.
I wouldn't be too worried. I'd be going to the lull.
Yeah, go right into Point Piper.
Yeah.
Gin and tonic at the Prince Edward and come back out.
It's solid,
It's
solid where he is now.
Yeah,
that's for
coming
sure.
out of Double Bay. So still no third place around Shark Island.
No third dividend today.
Well, I can see Yandu still staggering upwind, still way down the harbour. I don't know where Noakes Big Pete's got to.
He's in the background of this shot, just there. Just
Oh,
popped
there
out.
he is, just popped out from under that yacht. So he is third.
Yeah.
Still got a job to do.
We've got to survive the two-sail peak.
Yeah.
One of the tougher challenges of life. Gee whiz.
Where's this finishing line? Yeah, he's got a little way to go yet.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll be mucking around with the ley line.
No, they'll earn their gin and tonics or rum and cokes today. All these crews. It's been very hard work.
There he
There
goes.
they go.
Beautiful tack.
Josh McKnight and Harry Hall and skipper Harry Price done a terrific job. As we keep saying, it might look easy, but it hasn't been out here in very fresh conditions. On their way now, they're a minute or so from the finishing line.
I'll get a big round of applause from the
Well, and
ferry,
deservedly so.
from the ferry patrons for a pretty good effort. Nice ley line, Pete.
Perfect.
Just east of Jim.
Yeah, lovely, lovely.
Lovely.
Nicely, nicely.
And a bit of lull at the back of the ferry, but they handle that.
30
Wow.
metres to go. It's the finishing mark
Oh.
there. They'll just
Better see the ship
cruise across the line.
and a big puff. Oh dear.
We could win it from there, Andrew. Almost.
I don't know, Pete.
Okay, here they come.
Dearie me. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Well done.
Yep. Cool as you like.
Well,
Apart from a couple of little incidents, Pete.
yeah, well, it's a fantastic effort
Yep.
by the Rag and Famish, and maybe peaking at the right time. But anyway, their job is done. We go back to the remainder of the fleet, and there's not many left. Distance is Noakes Youth. Still about 3 or 4 minutes away from the finish. Out off Rushcutters Bay now. Tom, Finn and Nathan. We're going to get a bird's eye view of these boys. There they are.
So yeah, pretty big gash on Ricky's leg just above his kneecap is the info we're getting.
There you go.
So hopefully he is okay, and it's missed all arteries up there. So
Well, the salt water does a good job usually, Jimmy, doesn't it?
don't talk about it, Bucko.
Yeah, I know. How do I know?
Yeah, love it. Meg's Ricky's wife messaging me. I'll give her a call as soon as we're off air.
Here's the Noakes Youth. That's probably his best placing from ever, isn't it? Second in a scratch race, I think. Anyway,
Big
whatever it is.
Pete in the background, just massive nosedive, trying to get away right up at Point Piper.
Did they capsize?
Yes, mate.
Oh, dear, oh dear. That's the big Pete in the tie.
It's a big square top, Jimmy, isn't it?
Yeah, we were talking about that up the first work. So
But we're on board here. Dylan on the drone. Wow.
Great shots. You know, I know I've said it, but this is a really first-class effort by these young boys. Second today, and they've looked very solid throughout.
And I think they're the only boat not to capsize.
How far to go, Andrew?
Don't
I was
speak.
going to say, but I wasn't going to.
Don't speak too soon.
So his name is Andrew Buckland. I'll give you his phone number if you want to ring him.
Plenty to come here, but g'day, folks.
Right, you are right.
Amazing.
Well, there's going to be a long wait for the third place getter, whoever that might be, either Big Pete or Yandu.
Yeah, I think Big Pete might have bitten off a bit too much up there.
He's had his day, has he?
We'll go back and say
Okay,
hello.
they're not far off attack, these boys. Fresh again in Double Bay. Having a look at it now. Come on, Tom, you're probably pretty good now, I'd say.
Yeah, here he goes.
3, 2, 1, yep.
That's a pretty good heavy attack.
Yeah, here's the jib a little and away we go.
So you see the crew organisation, you know, the skipper's sole job is to keep the mast pointing up, and the other guys are just intuitively adjusting.
Yeah, but they've worked beautifully as a team. They've had their moments, a few little wobbles, but they kept the mast upright.
So Jimmy, how much crew are we looking at there?
not much.
Not much.
Three of you if you're lucky, Bucko.
Yeah.
They're right down to the
They're just reaching in now.
and the 210 or something of it.
Yeah. But you know, Nathan was the forward who, don't forget, on board this exact Noakes when Sean had it.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And he was skinny then, not
Yeah.
quite so skinny, but
Well done.
sensational effort, boys.
Well done. Terrific. Cross now. And that will be a very popular second place.
Yep, absolutely.
Now, what's left? Oh, I see.
Big Pete,
Big
and
Pete's-
you got Yandu
Yandu.
just at Shark Island. I think that's...
Wait. All right, we're going to have a look at the remaining two.
So Big Pete up and running again.
There he is. There's
Sort
Big
of.
Pete.
Sort of. But gee, if you've had an endo or two, you're starting to get pretty bashed, you know.
Oh, he'd be pretty tired. Boys, Yandu trying to get away in a really good puff at Shark Island.
Yeah, and can be pretty hard where Big Pete is also.
With the spiky bits there, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And a little bit more cold air coming, so it might actually get a little windier this last bit.
Oh, John Whitney would be thrilled to hear that, I'm sure.
Just some little grey bits of cloud, which,
So it looks as though Yandu is now sneaking into third spot.
yeah.
Big Pete's sort of up amongst the board boats at Point Piper. Just getting them bow down. That's Yandu. Way up to windward is Big Pete. So it could be a good battle here for third spot.
The other skip that's upright just off the top of Shark Island, Shippo is Team Germany. It's the older of the Balmain Slate boats there.
Have they done the full course, do you think, Jimmy, or have they just been out?
That I couldn't tell you. We
I
haven't
think
really. Every time we've crossed paths with this section of the fleet, they've been upside down. So
Right.
Yeah, no, Pete, I think they've just been having a look.
Sniffing the air, as they say. The German boys getting used to it. Well, they certainly got a lot to get used to today. So here's the battle for third. As we said earlier, all you had to do was stay safe today, and you're probably assured of a pretty good placing. There's Yandu in a good puff. Oh. And then coming into shot in a moment, up to windward, is the Noakes boys. So game on for third. Gee, it looks a big little sail on Noakes. It's just my eyes, or is it big sail, Andrew?
It's a big little sail.
Gee.
And that's what they've had their hands full all day. And good on them.
Well, yeah, absolutely. They've done very well
They're
to
going to get around with
get
what
up
used to
here.
be the size of an old number 2 rig, I think, you know, more or less. So a lot of sail there.
It's just compared to the Yandu. Well, Yandu has a refit, of course, but it's a lot smaller rig profile. Now, Noakes have got to get the bow down here, or Big Pete rather. So they're halfway down this run from Shark Island to Athol Bight, but about to get to the windy part there. Ash Brooklyn steering today with Ed Powis and Reese Mara. Pretty solid outfit there.
And Ed on GP duties next week.
And there's Yandu. It's right in on Bradley's, just taking it somewhat easy. But the problem for Big Pete now, they've got to get down to this mark as they go through a bit of wash on the Yandu.
Absolutely sending it. The Big Pete boys.
They might have to have 2 jibes and in. Oh, maybe not. They've got to get down. That's.
Yeah, no, he's well aware of the problem.
Yandu is down, so he'd be laying down on their leeward mark.
They look like they're not surely going for a shoot, are they, on Big Pete?
Someone was in the bow doing something. I think Reese was.
The end of the indication was.
Yeah.
Reese, never one to die wondering.
Well, it's
It's definitely safer with the shoot up.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
for sure.
especially if they're going to run square here.
Yeah.
Yandu got the boom way out.
Almost can't run square in 25 knots of wind. This doesn't work.
You can see how square Yandu is with the boom way out.
Yeah.
He's taking every advantage of getting low, but Noakes is still in a...
Noakes is nearly back to full load. Now at the mark. He's in a bit of trouble here with the powerboat wash.
There's going to be a battle royal for third. Wow. Remembering Dragon Famish has won. Noakes Youth second. These are the only 2 other boats afloat
That we know of.
that we know of on a very, very blustery day on the harbour.
Oh.
Strong southerly. Noakes now running square. And they'll probably get down there. Yandu down to Leeward just trying to do the dial up. Okay, Noakes is at the mark now.
Wow. Just a wing in the water sort of dial up would have been fine, but they did a pretty nice job there.
And then the Yandu just getting up. Balmain Slake, I don't know.
Team Germany.
Oh, is this Team Germany, is it?
Yeah, I believe so. It's the old
Oh.
boat.
They're about to eat it. Oh,
That is the old boat.
yeah.
Okay, well, they got a bit on, those boys. I think they're just out practicing.
I think they're just out
We're not
practicing.
sure.
We're not sure. I don't think they're in play, but
Yeah. No, I don't think they went. They didn't see them.
we didn't see them.
Down at Chowder at all. So I think they're just tuning up, mate.
Lovely day to tune up.
Yeah.
Okay, so Noakes is clearly, or Big Pete's clearly around. Yandu, tough day for those boys.
Something going on the Big Pete. One of the crewmen was in. No, he's back out again now. Might have just been the ferry here disturbing.
Yeah, it's just a lull off the ferry.
Yep.
Fresh again, a lot of waves, ferry wake.
The way the guys on Team Germany are sailing, like I know they're not on screen, there's Big Pete with the Harbour Bridge in the background, like they're sailing right around Woody's bow here.
Yeah. Well, or they might be just a full lap in arrears, Jimmy, I think. Maybe.
Putting the hammer down.
I think Woody's just taking it pretty easy, just sitting in. Tough day for anyone, but especially when you're 70 years young. John Winnie, along with John Bertrand, have been nominated for the Seahorse Sailor of the Month for March. So you can put your vote in. The two Johns, Winning and Bertrand.
Vote early, vote often.
That's it. That's it. So I think Woody's just take it pretty easy. Get the job done and get finished. He'd be giving that Balmain some if he's not in the race, I'll just tell you that.
Yeah.
He can yell upwind too, Woody, so anyway.
He's had enough.
Big Pete, yeah, get out of the way, so to speak. Yeah, tough day. I think that's all that's left, Jimmy, isn't it? Those four, or we think Balmain's not in play, so it was Rag and Famish, Noakes Youth, Big Pete and Yandu.
Yeah, I'm just keeping the camera boat here on the leeward side just in case there is any surprises pop out from Shark Island for us.
The only other one we saw was Birkenhead at one stage. But
no, I think I've seen them come on the leeward side of Shark Island and heading back home.
Two of the main players we didn't see, did we? Lazarus or Finport. They must have decided it was a bit too windy.
Yeah.
Keegan got whipped yesterday in the Botany Bay. He was sailing on the Botany Access for a third, so a bit of local knowledge came to the Botany Access boat from Manly.
So who was his crew for that, Jimmy?
Jared Smith was steering, Keegan and, tell you what, Kurt Mitchell off.
Oh, okay.
Does Keegan normally sail on the 16s?
No, mate. No, he filled in for the Nationals on Tribeca for James Turner, the Vice Commodore of St George Skiff Club.
Yeah.
He had a big injury and Keegan got the call up last minute, but previous winner of that, so not a handy substitute you can pull off the. Yeah, another solid substitute you can pull off the bench.
Now, Andrew, here's a question. Does Yandu pull the reef out? He'd have a bit on, wouldn't you? Yandu's got the reef in.
Yeah.
And he's I don't think you need a reef in.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Pete.
Oh, Big Pete.
Up too close to the island.
Yeah, got the squirrely ones.
A dangerous place.
Big Pete's in all sorts of trouble. They're all in trouble here.
Yeah, no, very good bit of breeze here, Pete.
Solid as you get out. I'd put another reef in, really, rather than pull it out.
I'll be changing the jib.
Yeah. Cheers.
Personally. But yeah.
Yandu's, you can say he's staggering upwind with that mainsail inside out.
Yeah,
it's
the
tough going.
Mainsail love curve does not work, even with that amount of reef in. No. So it's just too deep just below the hounds, as you'd expect. Did I say he might get a little bit more here, Pete? There you go.
He certainly has.
Wow.
Big Pete, I don't think he's laying. He's probably got one tacking in, I think. Or is he laying the pin end?
Close.
He's got a little tack, has he, or not?
Yep.
Yeah, there he goes.
Just
that's easier said than done.
He's in trouble because it's really windy.
Oh,
And
you can smell the finishing line.
Yeah.
You can smell it. And he's
get rolling.
Chicken winged up. He's
and it's so windy he won't be able to bear away.
No, there he goes.
Oh, they got through. Well done, boys.
Well, the Balmain boys, Team Germany, they look as though they're going for the finishing line, so they've come from the clouds. They may be fourth.
If that is indeed the case, indeed.
Don't know where he's been all day, but anyway, we'll mark him as fourth as Big Pete goes across in third spot. Good effort by that team.
So we owe them an apology, Pete.
We certainly owe Team Germany an apology, yes.
Yeah. So Tommy and Andy Martin and Heinrich,
Yeah.
sorry boys, we hadn't scored you as having gone around all the corners, but obviously you have.
So Big Pete across, Ash Brooklyn at the helm. There's Team Germany, Heinrich, Tom and Andy Martin. He will be fourth, and Yandu, I think that was all she rode in fifth spot. One tack left for Yandu. Oh, Team Germany have capsized.
But they finished.
They did, well, they went across the line, yes.
Yeah.
Yandu across. Okay, well, that's probably it for the day. What a day. Day that had a bit of everything. Certainly, it didn't lack for wind, it didn't lack for thrills, didn't lack for capsizes. But let's look ahead now for what's coming up for the remainder of the season. There it is on your screens. No race, as I said, next week because it's Sail GP weekend on the harbour. Spectacular sailing. Friday is a practice day, and then racing, full racing on Saturday and Sunday. So no 18-foot racing. We resume again on Sunday the 26th of February, which is 2 weeks today, for the final heat of the Club Championship, round 15. And then the week after, we move into the Giltons. We've got the Friday, 3rd of March, the invitation race. We'll be covering all these races on Sail Media. Saturday, first heat. Sunday, the second heat. Then the 3rd and 4th heat on the Tuesday, so lay day on the Monday. 2 races on the Tuesday, 2 races on the Wednesday. Thursday is race 7, and then we finish on the Saturday with a race 8, and then Sunday a race 9. Excuse me. And then the final race of the year, Sunday the 19th of March, the ladies get a run on Queen of the Harbour. So just so we can see there, the program's in shot, if we can bring that up. They're available, there we go, at the 18-footer club, the World JJ Giltnan program, Andrew being the model there. So, as I said, we'll be covering all of those races, including the invitation race. No race next week. Sail GP takes the screens then, and then we're back the following weekend for the final round of the Club Championship. So, there it was. Today's race had everything. Rag and Famish the winner. Very thoroughly deserved victors. Noakes Youth, a very impressive performance in second. And then Big Pete third. We think the German team were fourth, and then Yandu fifth. They were the only finishers. A little bit of carnage out there, maybe some injured crew members. We wish them well, and hopefully we'll can bring you good news on any injuries, and wish them all the very best. They have a week off next week to recuperate, and then we're back into it in 2 weeks' time. So, on behalf of all the Sail Media team, the boys that do a terrific job, and not easy conditions today. We say thank you to you guys, to Jimmy Bury, Andrew Buckland, solid as usual, terrific job, and look forward to your company in 2 weeks' time. This is Peter Shipway signing off from a very blustery Sydney Harbour, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time. Farewell for now.